Hi, my name is Enri Arroyo. I'm a senior public health major. Today I'm going to discuss suicide among Asians. Suicide is not generally a topic of everyday discussion, but maybe it should be. For Asian Americans, psychosocial disparity exists when it comes to accessing mental health treatment. According to Pew Research, Asian Americans are the highest income, best educated, and fastest growing racial group in the United States, with Asia now making up the largest share of recent immigrants. The survey finds Asian Americans are more satisfied than the general public with their lives, finance, and the direction of the country, and they place a greater value on marriage, parenthood, hard work, and career. But at what cost does it come? Some Asian Americans are feeling the insurmountable stress in this quest to become successful, and when they are no longer able to live up to the dream, they take their own lives. According to an article in the Chicago Tribune, Asian American women hold the highest suicide rate in the nation among women ages 15 to 24. Suicide has lasting impacts on the mental health of family and friends of the victim, and there isn't enough awareness for this population. It's not often talked about or is discussed in hushed tones. According to behavioral science, in many Eastern cultures, depression and other forms of mental illness are viewed as a sign of personal weakness that brings shame to the family. This is important because when someone commits suicide, it means that society was not there to protect them. Before a person makes the decision to commit suicide, there are warning signs that are being overlooked by family and friends. The suicide rate for Asian Americans is 6.10 per 10,000, according to the American Psychological Association. Stigma already exists for mental illness, but it appears that it's further magnified in the Asian community. Insurance and health benefits can make it difficult for the average citizen to navigate our healthcare system. Imagine how difficult it must be for someone who isn't familiar with our healthcare and not understanding how to navigate our mental health system as well. Why does the disparity exist in this particular population? Well, part of it is because there isn't enough research available on Asian Americans compared to other races when it comes to reasonings for committing suicide. According to an article in the Daily News, researchers say they are both less well studied and less likely to seek treatment. A recent article in the U.S. News said that a task force on women was held, and it was determined that while additional research has happened over recent decades, there is still not enough information about how gender, ethnic culture, and generational difference may lead to an increased rate in suicides. In the Asian American Journal, it was noted that the mental health needs of Asian Americans generally are not priority for politicians or administrators in positions of power to make such decisions. It's possible that those with such powers may have inaccurate or biased beliefs and attitude about Asian Americans. The socio-ecological model between the individual and personal relationships can determine how a person reacts to certain stressors. The added stress of the family that they should succeed at all costs, with the constant fear of being a disgrace to the family, can easily take its toll. The families of Asian American students have extremely high expectations of their children. Some of these expectations are unreasonable, and this can lead to additional stressors for the students. In an article in the Oakland Tribune, they've discussed the destructive behavior that some students have exhibited, such as cutting, eating disorders, and suicide ideation. These are all attention seeking behaviors that cannot be ignored. The tiger mom attitude of some parents also creates a high amount of stress. They feel that admission to a prestigious school is the ticket to wealth and quality adult life, according to a recent article in the China Daily. In an excerpt from the Affordable Care Act, it states that cultural differences, such as bringing shame upon one's family, appear to be a huge stressor. While social stigma around mental health pervades across the culture for Asian Americans, many feel even greater stigma because of cultural values stressing the avoidance of shame. Some parents are set in their ways and insist on raising their children the traditional Asian way. Cultural differences that may not agree with Western ways, such as treatment and therapies that are commonplace here, may not be of interest to some Asian Americans. And differences in language can also be a barrier in treatment. Having the ability to help someone who understands them and their differences in the culture would be helpful. In closing, mental health issues affect everyone. People don't often want to admit they need help, By creating barriers of shame, we are doing a disservice to one another. When someone commits suicide, they are not just hurting themselves, but everyone around them as well. There should be early interventions focused on suicide prevention for this demographic who have very specialized needs. Coming from a different country with a whole different set of cultural nuances that as Americans we aren't aware, that may affect how they view their world. Thank you.